This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, that's different. We are on page 200 and at the top. So the title of this day in week is A Fragile Band of Brothers. Have we gotten to the part of Fragile Band of Brothers yet? Not yet. The only brother we heard was we talked about Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay, who's Ephraim? Who's Manasseh? What does Ephraim name mean? What does Manasseh mean?
Manasseh.
Ephraim means
right
God make you forget. And then what is that? God make you forget something.
You done at the time and you cook so.
God make you forget. I know that's one of them.
Page 198 at the bottom. Last sentence.
Okay. God has made me forget the time of all my suffering and my family.
Okay.
Who's it?
So, sometimes in order to move forward, and the awesome thing is answer the second part. Answer the second part. I'm sorry, I was gonna jump into, but
Double proof.
go ahead, tell me.
On 199.
Okay,
Ephraim's God squarely nailed head. Wait, God certainly hit the nail squarely on the head with Ephraim. You're going to love the meaning of his name.
correct. So, what I was about to say is, I was in a forum right before this that had community members, law enforcement, and kids. So they have this forum monthly, and with the monthly forum, what they do, with the monthly forum, what they do is they talk about issues that are real to those who are a part of it. So one of the questions was, the question of the forum was, am I a target?
No.
And so the law enforcement was going to answer the questions and trying to say, hey, you guys are really not a target, and when you're in a certain environment, you fit a lot of the profiles. And so they were saying, listen, we operate in certain things. So it's not that we're profiling people, but you would be surprised that when you walk down the street and they say, hey, there's someone, to use this exact word, hey, there's someone with a red shirt on. A black belt, red shirt. Brother Thomas happened to be in the room, black belt, red shirt. And so he said they walk, they're checking out, trying to protect themselves, and they see 10 black belts with red shirt on. So they have to see if any one of them, sometimes they have to they actually have to hold them until everything is clear. Now, it may be one of the things that one of the kids say, but how does that change how we feel? when we feel that we're being targeted. And the officer said, you know, we need to do a better job of really telling the public that we're really not targeted. And so it's one thing when you have law enforcement and having the dialogue and discussion, but it's another thing.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that another officer brought up. He's like, yeah, you know, when he gave the example that there's one family within a month, within a year, they served 10 different warrants on that same house all for a year. So it's like, you know what? No, you're targeting us. And he said, really, the truth of the matter is, Mom was dating men who were criminals. And the kids were exposed. And so there would be times where it was a school day and serving a warrant on the house and the kids are home. So it's one of those things, it's like, no, we're not intentionally going to that house over and over again. But there was not the same person being investigated in that one house over the course of a year. So it may look, man, yeah, I'm happy about it. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking that Joseph might just let it down. Joseph may be saying, well, God, are you targeting? Because I don't know how it would make you guys feel, but if you were put in a pit, then became a, yeah, you serve the living God. And then get to the place where you're elevated to a certain position, and the person that you trust, that's your boss, that you work hard for, that you would not mistreat, accuse you of something you didn't do. And it's like, hey, hold on. First it was brothers, then it was being sold, right? Then now it's this and being accused of something, and then these two people, I'm like, please don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget me. And forgot him for 2 years. It may feel like there's a big old target on the back. And the difference between, you may not always have law enforcement to say, you're really not being targeted. But we have the word of God here that reminds us that even in our weakness, he is strong.
Yes.
And that he will never leave us nor forsake us. And even when we go through diverse trials, we hear it. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
So although it just feels so intense, I know it was a different forum, but I'm like, man, this still serves true. You're not a target, not in that way for an attack, but you're being set up to be blessed. And we see that Joseph was set up to be blessed. I asked if you've had a Manasseh in your life. And what does Manasseh mean
Well, his name, forget everything and my family.
again? Yeah.
Don't make me do it with verbatim.
Okay.
God has made me forget entirely all my suffering and my family.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
is somebody else here?
Uh-huh. Yeah, Minister Sharon, I have to mute you because we take care of your page turning. Your mic is pretty good. You could unmute. Are you still there?
Amazing.
I'm muted.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, your background, for some reason, your mic is really good. And so every noise in the background, the page turning, we hear.
You don't need to explain to me, just tell me what you need me to do.
No, have you ever had a Manasseh in your life?
You asking me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, when I moved to Georgia. And it took me until now to realize the state that I was in.
Mm.
And it wasn't so much that I was forgetting Miami, it was just the newness here and the way that I did things in Miami. I mean, I was going and coming, I was here, I was there. It was awful. And I didn't realize it was awful until I got out of it. If you can understand what I'm saying. So
Yes.
I'm going through all of this and I'm not knowing I'm going through all of this until I got out of all of that and realized, oh my God, I went through all of that, I did that. And it was traumatic. It was awful because I'm trying to adjust to here because it's a lot. It was a lot to adjust to here for me, coming from Miami all my life and come now and I got switched gears. It was awful. So the God has made me forget all my troubles. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm
Yeah.
going.
No, but I would tell you that that's the truth. And there's you I don't know if you guys haven't I don't like haunted houses and doing those things. And I don't like anything that's scary at all. And I remember there was times growing up in Jamaica where we had an outhouse, and there was a portion that there was a darkness. There was light on front and the outhouse was around the back. And by that side, the light from the other side of the house was shining. But man, those feet between the light, oh my, oh my gosh. And it's like Minister Sharon said, I don't know how God brought me through it. And there's times where by faith, God gives you a word of what the end will be, but you still have to walk between the darkness. And I can remember being a kid, yeah, the dark was one of my things I could fight. But I would just close my eyes and just run through really quick from where the light was to the other side. And I figured if I was closing my eyes, I was okay. As long as I didn't stop along the way.
Okay, so we had few pots.
Huh?
We had pots.
No, we had those
I
too.
won't go nowhere in the dark. Like
Yeah, yeah.
And plus, the toilet for us it wasn't like next to the house. It was like, probably first here as a stoplight.
Oh, okay.
Through the woods to grandmother's house.
Yeah, now, and I can't remember the distance, but at my father's parents' house, I remember you had to go to the bush. Yeah. So we had the chimney pots or the chamber pots. You didn't experience that?
No, he
Brother
missed all of
Thomas?
that.
You never experienced the chamber pot or the chimney pot or what do they call it?
Room bucket. See, we called ours the room bucket.
Oh,
Honey bucket.
okay. Okay.
This is a true story.
Oh, you had an
This
experience?
is we're on a temporary site, a bus site, and they didn't install the plumbing yet. They didn't connect the plumbing, so we had a honey bucket outside, honey pot, honey station,
Okay.
and they didn't change it for months. I had to get the CEO down there and ask him what he
One of them
used that.
toilet things.
Yes, one porta pots.
Okay.
And boy, he got on them so bad. They came in, seemed like 3 times a week, made sure it was nicer.
Okay,
Because
nice
it
and
was-
fresh, nice and fresh,
Yeah, to
right?
have to use it.
Yes, but the main thing in saying that is you go through things that you didn't realize you went through. And or you may not have, it wasn't until you look back that you say, God, you know what, I thank you for that. Because I don't know how I made it. And many of us have gotten to a place where we've come out of a lot, you know, and have that testimony and have the story and have the Manasseh to say, really, God, thank you. I think he should have made Manasseh God thank you. I mean, instead of,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah. But he wanted to make sure that y'all know he's been through some stuff.
Time he called his name, it reminded me of,
Been through some stuff.
uh,
Yeah. So, all right. Have you cooperated with God enough to see Him make you doubly fruitful in the very place you've known suffering or affliction? Have you cooperated with God in the place that you were afflicted in?
well, I cooperated. I don't know if I got double.
Too.
Like, like one of my, two of my worst things, first of all, when Charlie died, except when Taylor died, because I remember she really didn't want to have surgery, but she had to have it because she was in pain. She never complained. And plus, the HRS, whoever the people kids, but yeah, they would have been on Christine. She had surgery she needed.
Oh, this
Yeah, and so but with that, and I was right there in the room. She took her last breath. And I said, "Oh my God!" And then, but the thing was, I was in the room with Charlie last breath too. Come to think of it, so it was like he was waiting. And then, we went on ministry, as you know, and so I don't know if I got double, but I think that it's been fruitful. So, and he brought you an outside thing.
Well, how many years were you in ministry up until
I don't know. It had been that. So you mean?
2005 until 2010, right?
Yeah,
So that was 5 years, right?
yeah.
And that was what? That it's double this.
Yeah,
You've been double fruitful. We're still going.
yeah.
Thank you, Lord. Yes, and the only reason I say that is because there were times Sunday from Sunday is like, yeah, is this the day? Is this the Sunday? Is this the month? True or not? True or not?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Put it on your credit card. I don't think so.
So
Lord,
but this is a good discussion because there's times where we may look back and say, well, you know what? I remember this or I remember that. And to remember what you went through and then see the fruitfulness in it is a blessing too.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah. Amen. I'm not saying it takes away the pain, which is like with Joseph, it really doesn't. But it took away the sting. And when you have loved ones who pass on, the thing that helps, and I have a friend every year around the same time, the grief and the mourning starts over and over again. And what I tell my friend and other people is that, you know what? When you're going through grief and you experience a lot of loss, you just have to remember that number one, they're saved. And the gift you give to them and to give to yourself is to just live the best life possible. Because when you meet them again, it would be like, you know what? You weren't here, but I live the best life possible. And although the physical body is not present, it doesn't mean that their soul and spirit is.
And then I think it's better, but it's not easy, but it's more consoling. I think whenever you know the person is safe, you know, it's never easy, but at least you know where they are.
You know,
You just have to help you do it day by day by day.
and I mean, and it's not always easy to find the fruitfulness in the thing, right? But like even fertilizer, that pain may be the fertilizer for the fruit that you may not know is there.
And they do it on somebody else.
And not,
You know.
that's so true. Okay. The Bible says, right? Can somebody read the Bible study breaking free?
Bible study. The Bible study, Breaking Free, is one of my Ephraim's. I've never lived through a more difficult season than I did while writing. I was hit by a tidal wave of fear, personal loss, insecurity, self-condemnation, and terrible memories. Honestly, I thought I'd never emerge from that season of affliction intact. Yet God used it to bring forth what will likely remain my primary life message. Trust God.
Trust God.
Yes.
Trust God. Trust God.
So I can't say that there's anybody who doesn't have to go through things, because we all go through different things. But she said, the experience of fear, personal loss, insecurity, self-condemnation, terrible memories. And although the Christmas season is one of my favorite times a year, for many, it's also the most emotional time of year, the most painful time of year. And the more you live, the more you realize, I don't have everybody I used to have, you know? And so with that being said, that those Ephraim moments or the Ephraim period of time, although they are difficult, trust God.
Yes.
I mean,
Trust God.
as believers,
Yes.
that has to be our stance. Otherwise, we don't have anything else to lean on. We can't lean on our own understanding because we can't figure out why, you know. So we have to trust God, you know, in it.
And I was watching, not only because this is going on YouTube, I won't say word because apparently they censor mistakes. But I was going through Facebook yesterday, there were just tons and tons of messages about a DJ who passed away.
Yes.
And yeah, and so it's when people don't understand or know and attack the faith, like why believing this? It's not that our faith is in the church. It's not our faith is not in a pastor. Our faith is not in a position or title or a building or none of that. Our faith is in God. And so when we're going through, we go through a lot of the same thing other people go through, and we're not exempt from it. But we do have a God that we can tap into and word that we can hold on to and just live. And when it seems like at that dark point where you just went from light to darkness, God will tell you there's a light at the end. And as much as it feels like it's so hard and it won't get better, guess what? It will. When it feels like if you keep on living another day, the road is going to end, it doesn't. And this is why we trust God and we stand on His word. And I keep on reading this.
Brutus, so amazing.
God
I'm sorry, God is so amazing. Not only did He purpose double fruitfulness in Joseph's life, but we'll soon see that He purposed the very people who hurt Joseph most to eat from that fruit.
Can you believe that?
I know you have got your glasses.
Yeah.
That's all right. Because you remember before I used to read, and when I was reading, I would take my glasses off and look down and stumbling over words. And now I got progressives. That may not help me read, but at least it'll help me see, right?
You got read glasses. I don't know why you don't have more. You
I didn't bring.
Oh, see?
I didn't have a bag. I didn't bring my bag.
Okay.
So the ones who hurt you the most, God is a forgiving God. You don't have to walk around holding grudges.
No.
But you will be the lender and not borrower. And God will use you, the one that people thought would not amount to anything.
Like the song go.
For them to want most everything you have. So it's one of those things that being fruitful and continuing to live and do as according to what God wants, you will see those who were better off than you, doing tremendously well, and you weren't even jealous of them. You celebrated them. Some people had lots and lots of money, and then what are they doing? Bagging groceries at the grocery store. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's money to be had, but just to tell you the mindset that you may be elevated one day, but you may be abased another day, and you may be abased one moment and elevated another day. You know, it's not about the things we have. Okay, so in this case, even who ate from the Joseph's the people who hurt him were his brothers. Going back to the title of this, his brothers hurt him the most. And you see his brothers also ate from the fruit. Okay, so let's keep reading, please.
Jesus told us in Luke 6:28, bless those who curse you, not only for their blessing, but but sometimes for our healing. Dear one, this is Christ's. This is to Christ's Father, Lord, that you bear much fruit. God will never lead you anywhere you can't ultimately be productive to the glory of His great name. This very season that seems least likely to bear fruit may be place of your equal portion.
Okay. So guess what? If you're there, that's your place to be fruitful. If God has I gotta show you guys. Pastor Hattie, just to make certain, sorry, I gotta tell. And so I told her, I said, Pastor Hattie, I want, I'll show you that. I wanted a bracelet ring like this, right? And you've never made never made anything like that.
Never thought about it.
Yeah. And so,
Push me past my limit.
yes.
Because I can't use any metal. So I had to improvise.
Yeah. And so here, even, and I wear it at work and people see it, and I tell my coworkers, and I'm constantly doing this, not because it's about flashiness, it's really showing, for me, it's a testimony of fruitfulness.
Yeah.
It's a testimony of fruitfulness for me. And I'm challenging you with a couple of, I bought some leather,
Yeah,
leather things, and I said, let's see what you make out of this.
You always throwing these challenges on me. Stretching me.
And then metal, those metal washers and all kinds of
The
stuff.
pump.
Yes, and it's like, okay, let me see what you make out of these. And so you know what? That's so awesome, because God allows things in our lives to say, let me see what happened. Of course, He already knows, but the devil's like, they can't do it, and God's like, watch them, watch them. So even when you're going through the storms of life, and it's supposed to be afflicting, God says that is going to be a blessing. Amen. 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 Amen.